Good afternoon, everyone. It's lunchtime, and as promised, I'm back with Genshin. And only for a specific reason. Because I've been doing stuff on my main, and I realized some stuff, and we'll get into that in a little bit. Because basically, I'm going to just give myself a little account review here on the alt, and try not to roast myself too hard. No, it didn't. Weird. I apologize if the, I guess it's the frame rate that's doing it. I don't know why the remote play is making things look a little funky. Right, I'm in Japanese on this. Go T. Alright, we're still gonna be condensed. I cannot condense my resin. Uh-oh. Well then. That doesn't help me. We got our test runs. We'll do our test runs in a few minutes. I do want to do the artifact route first.
僕はこの天気に慣れてるけど、君は傘を差した方がいい。
Yeah, we'll keep it. We'll keep it with the Tiggy team. We'll keep it with the Tiggy team. Thunk. What the heck? Tainari. Acting like a cat who just jumped on top of the fridge, like, look what I can do. Do 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 do. Nice, they were all two firsts.
僕はこの天気に慣れてるけど、君は傘を差した方がいい。ついてきて。
Cannon Baju. Yeah, not quite sure what's up with the remote play today. It was working perfectly fine with Disgaea yesterday. Get official. There you are. Was I seriously getting electrocuted from the water? Oh, son, you're gonna make it hard to read chat today, aren't you?
Yo. ついてきて。
Bit of a crisis at work, so probably won't be able to watch today. Have fun. Okay, I would say try to take it easy, but I know that's not gonna happen. Good luck.
Yo.
All right. Let me...
ついてきて。よ。ついてきて。よ。ついてきて。よ。
Here. We are cruising.
ついてきて。ついてきて。
Okay, Tainari, you say that one more time. I'm changing off of you. I don't remember you guys being so talkative.
Yeah.
Pew! Boop.
Yo.
I keep wanting to go back up there. I did that on my main too. Like I just was like, okay, I'm gonna go back up and then jump back down. It's like, no, you just did the second part of that. Seriously? Die.
夜の権限やー見えないだろやっはっ主練満員だよほっ
Yep, I'm actually very surprised at how, well, I shouldn't be surprised because that's the functionality of a Favonius, but just changing Beto onto the Favonius has helped immensely to this team. Excuse me.
Yo. いてきて。
Like you said the thing. Come on out, Baiju. Honestly, I should have Baiju out anyway since he's tall. Just to make this a little bit faster. God, Shalon's gonna really speed this up, honestly. Even with me liking to stop and fight things. Tumble on the head. No. There you go. Ugh. That feeling of I need to go back to bed. Yep, that's wrong person. Wow, you just punched my face. Oh, really? Gotcha. Well, that was sloppy. Grab this. Why? Baiju, down. It would be like my ultimate complaint about this game. Like, every character, it doesn't matter who you're playing or whatever, they just want to like latch onto the wall, and then when you want them to latch on the wall, like right there, he just jumped off. I didn't hit the button to make him jump down. Alright. Roughly the final stretch, just going through leeway. Nope, nope, that's the wrong tent. And yeah. the bajillionth chilies. Yum, yum, yum. Okay, Mayhew solved the issue. I'm gonna take a small break to collect myself and then test to see if what we did worked. Okay. Enjoy your breather. Hopefully it did work. Nope, that one's dead. Thank you, Oz. May we get C6 Fischl soon. Or at least C1 so he can do the coordinated strikes with Fischl. Deep breaths. We couldn't program locks anymore for what? How the heck does that happen? It's a bit complicated, I bet. Because it doesn't make any sense, just what you just said. Just think, broke... Something broke without even touching it, gotcha. Yeah. Oh, did I actually aggro the Fatui? I did. Her jumping back that far when she was firing actually aggroed the Fatui. Interesting. Potato! See, that's where I miss Kazuha in my party. Things wouldn't have been so spread out. I kind of already handled it like a champ. Yeah, I just didn't change it back for some reason. point. My controller did not want to respond to that. Language, voiceover, English.
The doctor will see you now.
When in doubt, just bring out Baiju just to make sure it works. And I'm not capped. I'm not capped on resin, so I can yap for a few minutes. Okay, now that that's done, my realization to this account in comparison to my main, because it was my main feels a lot better now from the adjustments I made and how I made them. And try to apply the same principle to the alt. What are you looking at, Baiju? Were you watching a fish? That's kind of funny. So let's bring up, that's the party setup. That's not friends. That's party setup. We're going to bring up me over here. Now that I know how to do this. So these are the three main parties I kind of play on my main. I have my Nouvellette team, my Arlecchino team, and Alhaitham and Kaching are kind of interchangeable. So one of the other characters you're not seeing here is Baiju. Nouvellette had been triple programmed for a while. Like, when I actually had enough Mora and decided, hey, I'm just going to do it, I did it. But everybody else for a while, like Kazuha was ascended, but he wasn't leveled. Farina was level 90, but her talents were, I want to say her talents were at least 8-8. Bennett at that time, I think, was only level 80. He wasn't even ascended. Zhongli was 90. When I started doing the sprucing stuff, Emily wasn't out. Arlecchino was. Arlecchino was 90. Same with Alhaitham. Kuki, again, was not ascended like Bennett. Singcho, same thing. Nahito was 90. So take that into consideration. So the first thing that I needed to adjust, and very willingly admitting to that, was anyone who had been ascended and partially leveled needed to go to 90. And then characters I used, like specifically Bennett and Kuki, because healer should have been ascended and went to 90. So this meant I needed ley lines, I needed Mora, I needed XP books, and a lot of them. So there was a video that was done by Java the Cup, which was what happens if you farm nothing but ley lines in a month. And he did the same accession I did as well, which was your weekly bosses, should you need them, right? So I was like, all right, unlike Java though, because in the video he admits this, that he wasn't following any sort of plan with it. What he did was went to the ley line that was closest to the waypoint. What I ended up doing was and this benefited too, because I did this in July. July 1st was on a Monday. So I literally went from Monday to Monday, or Monday to Sunday, I should say, counting as 1 week's worth of stuff. So it was actually very even on how I did this. So the first week was of XP books, then the next week was Mora, and that week, funny enough, had the ley line event where you got double drops from those ley lines. Then XP again, then Mora, and then the final last few days I split between the two. And I ended up with, I believe, like 18 million Mora and I want to say it was just over 1,000 heroes win. I want to say it was just over 1,000 heroes win. And that was enough to ascend these characters, the ones I did not have at 90. Obviously excluding Stallone and Emily because they weren't available. So the next thing I was going to do was weapons. Can I not actually look at the beauty? Oh, R3. Well, I apparently didn't. That was dumb. I apparently didn't say that was public, and it should have been. Oh well. So I will back out of that now. So the next thing I did was weapons, or tried to, and I ran out of crystals. So it became, well, what weapons am I actively using? So when I get crystals back, I can just throw them into the weapons. And that was, at the time, the Witsith and the Catch. And just changing Nuvolet's weapon to the Witsith to get that extra crit damage made it so I could clear one of the hardest abysses to date. So, and I'll asterisk this too. Forrest was the one that actually cleared it. I just did the adjustments on the account. So let's take a look here. That was something that we just did as well. If we look at, hello? There we go. Beto. Beto was one of the ones that got this. So we changed her weapon out from this weapon. Yeah, it was this weapon here. It's here on Dory. To the Fav. And this has been a really good change. Specifically for the team that she's on right now. So, you know what? Awesome. I will continue to do that. I will also level the Sack Greatsword at some point when I need to use it. Because I originally used this on Gaming and Dea on my main account. And it's been a fantastic weapon. I don't know how good this weapon is going to be without Emily. Like, I have this weapon on my Dea, on my main, because of Emily. So, in all intents and purposes, if it turns out, hey, it's not that great without someone like Emily, we'd have a backup for Dea when she does get leveled. So, let's take a step back and refresh. The first thing we needed to do was level, ascend, and level. And for the most part, we could do it this way too. Let's edit the profile. And we'll do showcase. So our primary team, even though the primary team for Eula isn't technically Kazuha. So we'll do, what is it? Xing Cho, Fischl. Where's the Chocobo? There he is. Mika, Eula. And then our second team, we'll say, is Tiggy. So we have Baiju. Oh, well, I can't do that because Fischl is in both teams. And Kazuha's in the Mualani team. So hang on. We'll try to fix this. I can also use a stand-in too, or just leave it blank because there's multiple characters. So we can use Rina. We can put Farina there. All right. So it's Kazuha, Benny, Zhengling, Mualani, and then we have Baiju, and we'll say Beto, Rina, and Tainari. Okay. Oh, I read that wrong. That's why. And we can show the constellation. That's fine. That's what happened. I'll go fix that later. So as you can see, all of these characters except for Beto, we have leveled and ascended following that pattern. Let's go back to this. Why do I keep doing that? Hello. Okay. So we managed to go, all right, these are our parties that we're using. Beto was benched for a bit. I will admit I wasn't using Beto because I was trying to do the Hyper Bloom variant with Fischl and Farina instead of spread aggravate with the two Electros. So Beto got kind of sideswept. And that's okay. That's okay. She's still functional the way she is. She just would be better if I did bring her to 90, which will be something I will do. But most of the characters are 90. So then let's take a look at their weapons. Baiju's is 90. Fischl's is 90. We got the 90 Fab when that wasn't her original weapon, so that was awesome. And we got the R2 Amos bow at level 90 because it is the only 5-star weapon on the account. So though it took more resources, we have that done. Kazuha's Iron Sting is level 90. Snowtone's Star Silver is 90. When Mualani came out and we were going for it because we were guaranteed. We were definitely guaranteed. So it was no problem going in and leveling the Witsith for her. And that's 90. We have a Fav. We have the thing from the event. Harbinger of the Dawn, Sack Sword at R3. I actually didn't realize this was R3. Awesome. Bennett is the one that does need help. But, and again, there's an adjustment we can make to Zhengling. We have the, oh, Shalonen has it. Let's remember I had that on Lynette, sorry. We have the second Favonius sword at level 90. So this Fav sword can actually get passed around to multiple characters. Same with Farina's, we could do that. The Sapwood Blade is something I should level. And the only reason Bennett's on the Sapwood Blade is because of its high base attack. That was it. Because honestly, the Sapwood Blade would be on the Traveler. Speaking of which, Ether, do you have the other Iron Sting? You do, which needs to go to 90. So there's still weapons that need to be leveled that I have, specifically the Iron Sting. So the Iron Sting can go on Shinobu, should we be lucky enough to actually see her on Nahida's banner. So we'll have a weapon for her. Lynette can go on to the Fav from Shalonen, or however else we need to actually adjust that. That's okay. Every character I'm pretty much using right now, though, has a weapon that is level 90 outside of Bennett, which I could just flip him to the Fab, which I should. I should just flip him to the Fab. The only thing is, which we'll talk about that in a second. That's talents. That's artifacts. There we go. There we go. Yeah, his crit ratio ain't gonna do much for that Favonius.
Where did that come from?
So that brings us to, well, then why does the account feel weird? Why does it feel kind of crummy sometimes? Outside of clunkiness of characters, Molani, it's that. So this set here is Mika's. This is Mika's. Mika doesn't need crit because he's not on Favonius. So, like, that's not even level 20. I don't even know why I haven't brought that level. Bennett, come here. Let's adjust this. I'm not looking out on like bonus XP. Look at that. Just chugging along. There we go. Attack. Thank you. That's level 20. That's 20. That's 20. Okay. So, as a whole, this is going to be that 1 point for any account, right? So this account is just over a half a year old, I believe. Because I started this in March, like late March. You don't actually really start thinking about artifacts until AR-485. Because then you can get 5-star artifact pieces, regardless of how long it takes you to finish the domain. Oh my god, oh, jeez. You have a good flower too. Sorry, that distracted me for a second because I was like, wait, these aren't leveled. What the heck did I do? So yeah, there's part of the problem. Level your artifacts. The reason things go to 16 is because that's where the 4-stars stop. And if it rolls like absolute garbage, yeah, go ahead and stop rolling that. Don't waste any more resources on it. Like the flower, for an example. If I would almost say, like, if it's Goblet Sands or Circlet, go ahead and level it all the way, despite it being trash, because it's the main stat you're looking at, not necessarily the subs right away. So that was something I had to take away from my main just now, too, was learning the main stats. On my main, when I was first starting out, I wasn't paying attention to the main stats. I was paying attention to the substats. To the point where my Traveler had a defense circlet because it was a 5-star. And if I remember right, the substats had ER and I think both crits, if not just crit rate on it. And I was like, I want that. And didn't care that it was defense, and I should have. So as it stands right now, Bennett's set could be better. Technically, Baiju's set could be better. And Mika was holding on to the stuff for Bennett. Now, all three of them prefer HP, so they want to be on HP ER. That's fine. But if I give Favonius to Bennett, he needs crit rate. So he does need some better artifacts going forward. And as we can see here, Xingqiu, Beidou. Beidou's isn't... Well, that one has ER. That was... Oh my god. Okay, Beidou's is one of the ones I stopped on purpose. Because it rolled into defense and HP. Now we want the crit rate. But like, Xingqiu still is rocking a 4-star. Mualani's rocking a 4-star. Couple 4-stars. Zhengling's not. Yeah, let's give a quick look through. Hang on. You're on 5 stars. 5 stars. Beidou has a 4-star. Kazuo has 2 4-stars. And you have 2. Farina has 1. Again, this was Bennett's. Is that healing bonus? No, that's crit rate. Which, you know, crit rate is fine, because again, Favonius, but I prefer healing bonus on characters like that. Yeah, you're the rocket build there, Kaya. You have a 4-star. And Dea has a 4-star. And she's on the 2-piece because we stopped using Diona. So we gotta replace those 4-stars. And here's the thing. If it has the main stat, I don't mind having that as the placeholder while trying to farm it. But I think anybody who's played this game long enough or has watched it long enough knows it's a crapshoot. I spent an entire month farming for Arlecchino on my main to get Harmonic Whimsy on her and have a very meh attack stance on set. Because she needed the offset Pyro Goblin. And that's the problem with a lot of accounts that feel like they're icky or just not functioning. The artifacts are a chunk of your stats and damage. But when you can't get the stupid game to actually give you something good, you're kind of stuck. And that's a sucky feeling. So 100% agree that the thing that you should get your main stats on your sets, or even go after your sets with the main stats, right? So going after Emblem and Deepwood and all that stuff, depending on what character it is, try to get a quote-unquote cope build. So they're correct stats, correct sets, and stuff like that. So you can function a little bit higher. So a difference between my main when I started and this account was I was smarter about it, waited till AR45 to get the 5-star artifacts, excluding from bosses, of course, and actually leveled and had characters on Instructors, Exile, and Berserker. And heck, even had a 2-piece. I believe Kaya was on 2-piece, right? I think he was on 2-piece Glad, 2-piece Berserker. So he had 2-piece attack and then the 2-piece crit. And that proved to be one of the smartest things I did. Yes, I did struggle going to get, Golden Troop for Farina. But yeah, I'm going to. You know, my stats are still a little bit low there. I'm going to struggle a little bit. But that's okay. You're making the adjustments and you will get stronger to the point where I can actually clear that domain, I think, in just over a minute now on this account. We could go try. Let's go try. That was Marchese Hunter. We still gotta spend some resin anyway, so I might as well just do a run here, right? Oh, what do we need? We need at least Hydro. Hydro, Cryo, Animo, Pyro? They want me to bring in the Blender? But we'll do it this way. This is one of my favorite teams. Is it going to be the best team going here? Probably not. But let's see how fast we can kill it.
Let the world collide!
Remember, health comes first.
Into the wind. Clouds high. The birds.
You're toast! Booba, get them! Let my name echo in song!
Mind the side effects.
The wind knows.
Seems like an emergency.
Nice and spicy! Hey-ya!
As one with wind and cloud.
54 seconds. So yeah, just under a minute with this team here. Now, yes, I do have Farina. Yeah, we'll use Condense. Why not? See what we can get. March to say Hunter. Nope. Maybe for a future Risley, huh? Huh? Can we wish it to his assistance? Mr. Cake, can you come home? All right. So, but that's case in point, right? That domain, same team. I could go in there with the actual blender because that's what I was using before. I was doing that in like what, 3 minutes? And that was with the VV set that Kazuha has. And then the makeshift build on everybody else with like instructor and all that stuff. So yeah, even just like being on your set. So we got ER here, which, you know, rolled all into HP, great for Farina. And Farina's pieces actually aren't too bad. That has crit. It has HP, that's why. EM crit damage. I almost wonder if this would be better for her. And she took Mulaney's old cup. That's fine. It's HP. Works for her. And then we just need honestly, a crit rate for her, but the crit damage was the one that was on set. So her ratios are actually not that bad. She functions and stuff like that. So artifacts are the crapshoot. So what do you do? And the answer is talents. And I, on my main, went, all right, after leveling everybody, what else do I need to do? And it became weapons and talents. And the weapons became a problem because I ran out of crystals and, like I said, had to go to, well, what am I actively going to use? And that was the Witsith and the Catch. So I kept doing crystals. I made sure I had the materials for those two weapons. And then shifted focus into getting talents because the Leyline event was going on, so the double drops from the talent domains. And started even looking at characters that I semi-use or will eventually use, like Cloud Retainer, Gaming, Sucrose. And started leveling their talents to at least level 8. And same with this account, the reason they stop at 8 for right now is because it needs 2 drops. And the only other way to get those drops, if you don't have, are not lucky, is the Dream Summons. And I only have 10 here. So that becomes picking and choosing who do I want to use these on, which ultimately depends on what boss I do or do not want to farm. So for me on this account, yeah, I would use the solvents on Kazuha and Eula, just so I don't have to fight H-Daha. Or fight him more than I have to. So there's that. Kazuha's skill needs to go up one more, but that was yesterday. God dang it. Oh, I know. I'm silly. I farmed that on my main for him and didn't do it on here. Whoops. So that's still what I did on my main, though. It was like, okay, whose talents are not at level 8? Or the things that should be around there aren't. And it was quite a few characters. Even Alhaitham, who is triple 8 now, didn't have it like that. So it was quite a bit of farming, but it's an easy way to actually get some power into your characters, is to make sure you level your talents, even if you stop at level 8 for time being. Because again, you are waiting on a drop. There is nothing you can do about the RNG. Just get what you can and get them to where they need to be. So if Kazuha's skill being level 8, awesome. 8-8 on Baiju, awesome. 8-8 on Farina, awesome. 8-8, 8-8, 8-8, 8-6-8. I'll eventually get that probably to, like, so for an example with the crowns, I would probably crown her normals and her burst, but her skill would sit at 9. Like, that's pretty much the way it might look, to get as much out of it as I can. Her skill really doesn't do much. You know, it's the same with Tainari. And then Mualani, unfortunately, I did level her normal attack, but I didn't realize I didn't have to. But yeah, if you look, we have everyone that we use pretty much to the 8-8 standard, except for Benny Boy. All right, Bennett should have been the one I went after. Lynette is 8-8, you're 8-8, and Shalonin is capped where she can be right now. So for this, I'm going to have to make note for this account. So Friday, I'll make the exception here for my plan, because I silly did not go in and do that yesterday on Bennett and Kazuha. I didn't realize I didn't do that. I thought Bennett was at least level 8 on his burst. But see, that's a fix I need to do. So we need to get his talents up. And then once the talents are up, we can then really shift into leveling other characters and artifacts. And artifacts are the biggest thing. So that's what makes it harder to make...
Trade tactics. I'm always ready.
Why do you always interrupt me, Beta? Why? I mean, you're not as bad as Fischl. So we have 2 characters here that need to be ascended and go to 90. And then we have straight up leveling and ascension for Shalonin, and I'm going to say Dea. Dea's still on the docket for right now. And of course, if we get her, Nahida. So that's still a lot of resources. And we cycle back around to what I had to do initially. Resources are very thin. I'm back up to 5.2 mil, which is awesome. The events have helped that a lot. So for the month of November, I'm going to be farming resources. I'm going to follow what I did on my main. And that would be doing the ley lines. So I will be doing a week of one, a week of another. And then at the end of the month, if it's not a full week, obviously I'll separate them and stuff like that. The difference, and probably why it felt weird when I did it, because I technically did it already on here. Because I ascended characters first, of course, because I needed those materials. And then it was like, okay, I need to get XP books. What's that? I ran out of XP books. So every day I farmed and then just threw them into a character. So it took a little, it looked like it was choppy and taking longer, but it wasn't. I was just doing it as I went, as opposed to my main, where I literally touched nothing after I did the ley line. So the books stayed where they were. I didn't level any characters until the month was ended. Mora was the exception because I was still doing my artifact routes and I capped on space. So I had, at the time, you could salvage them into Mora, but you couldn't salvage them into the artifact XP. And I wanted the artifact XP. So I just was like, all right, I have to spend a little bit of the Mora and just level things to 4. If it's a 3-liner, level it to 4, see where it landed, If it sucked, if it was not double crit, because double crit or bust, if it wasn't trash, you throw it into something else. And in this case, now that we have the art, it's not the artifact exchanger. What the heck is it? It's the thing that makes it so that you can get the elixir. So we can now throw those into there. And I think you need like 25 question mark level 4 ones to gain the elixir. So it has two different purposes. Whether you want to throw it into another artifact to still, recycle the XP, or you're just going to throw it into the elixir so you can make an artifact. So, all in all, great. And that's going to be the same thing for this account, except Okay. Okay, am I back? All right, I'm back. I apologize. So I don't know exactly what that was. But I just restarted our router. Seems to may have fixed the problem. I'm unsure. It's a good thing I wasn't in combat when I did that. Jeez. But yeah, so I'm going to have to fix that when I upload the VOD. So splicing together stuff shall be fun, and I'll hopefully make a note of that too. But as I was saying, we had been farming for Eula, and her pieces aren't great at all. And my husband just texted me that there was, in fact, an outage, so it wasn't just me. So we'll go as long as we can. If it happens again, I'll preemptively say I'll see you tomorrow. But as you can see, like, we have some stuff for Eula. Oh, there is a little bit of lag going on, so bear with me. Yeah, she's holding onto this one because of the high attack and has crit rate. You have this one that has attack and crit damage. No, but nothing with double. Nothing with double attack. This is the only attack sans we have gotten that wasn't absolute garbage. This can stay. Like, this is, I don't think she's going to beat this. Not for a long time. And then, as I said, like, this is absolute trash. But it's the main stat I want. So, it works for now. Works for now. But again, a lot of characters need that TLC. Even Mualani, who is 100% functioning on this build here. Yeah, she's got Farina's cup. I hope she gets one for herself so Farina can take hers back, because that was pretty good. The HP one's fine too, though. Don't get me wrong. The HP one's fine. But we need a crit damage, because she scales crit rate. So, or ascends with crit rate. Scales. But that's the only one we got on set. And it happens to be a 4-star. Same with this. Like, this could have been fine if it rolled crit rate or HP. But again, it's a 4-star. So we need to fix it. This, perfectly fine. I have no qualms with that. No qualms with that either, honestly. 14% crit damage. It could be a good offset for somebody too, so that's fine. Double crit, that's awesome. Plus HP, awesome. This, not so much. This literally went all low rolls and into ER. Again, that one has a lot of HP, but low crit. So this was definitely an upgrade for her. Only HP stands I could get. and then the offset. So there's just a lot of stuff that we can do in terms of the artifacts. And I think that's roughly where we're at now outside of resources. Which is why I said for the next following month, I am literally just going to do ley lines Monday through Friday with the bosses sprinkled in. That's the asterisk. I will still allow myself to also do my weekly bosses to start getting stuff together in terms of those materials to start leveling their talents to at least level 9. Because I don't, that's actually a good question. How many crowns do I have on this account? Where are the crowns? Are the crowns over here? No, these aren't the crowns. Where be you, crowns? Oh, it would be with the talent material, wouldn't it? Is it all the way down? Yes. So we have 16 crowns to work with, okay? So that means if a character has 2 things that we want to crown, so like Farina, we want her skill and her burst, that means we have 8 characters we could do that with. That's not too bad. That's not too bad. That's 2 full parties. Should we decide to go that route? And I still have plenty of ways to get crowns because I haven't finished the Fountain of Lucine. I haven't finished the Onion, the Fountain, the Tree in Inazuma. So there's a lot of ways for me to still get crowns on this account outside of using my Stardust. Dust? Glitter? Glitter. It's glitter. So I don't know if I would ever actually use that much glitter on a crown unless I really, 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 really love the character. So let's make that list. I'm going to be getting materials such as the 2 things from the ley lines, the XP books and the Mora. During the week or even on a random Sunday, depending on timing, if I remember, I am going to be farming bosses. And it's going to be... I don't think I have a single character that doesn't use the same boss. Because Kazuha and Eula use Ajdaha. Baiju and Lynette use a pep. Sadly, I believe it's the same item, but Farina and Mualani use the whale. Bennett, Baito, and Zhangling use Devolin. Oh, maybe Tainari is the only odd one out. Because he uses Raiden Shogun. Nika, who are you? Scaramouche? You... Why? Mika uses the same item as Shalonen. So, Shalonen and Mika will use Scaramouche. Kaya, Fischl, and Sing Cho all use Andreas. So yeah, all the bosses do add up, and even if I put in Dea, and I believe Nahida also use Scaramouche. Yeah, if Dea and Nahida use the same item from Scaramouche, actually. So I will be picking out the bosses between that, so we can just start really leveling up stuff and getting that power level. In terms of what artifacts I would farm, I'm still not really sure. I know Mualani hitting as hard as she does, it's hard to ignore. It's just the fact that she's clunky to the point where she can just yeet the shark into oblivion. Because I think it was Monday when I was playing. I was fighting the Fatui, and I'm like, where the heck did that go? And Forrest pointed out that it targeted the tree. Like, it went into the tree. And it's like, why did it go into the tree? I was literally right next to the Fatui. So I don't understand that. But again, it's hard to ignore her power. Yeah, she uses the same one as Farina. So, you know, leveling the supports up, like Kazuha and, wow, Farina. My brain almost wanted to say Fischl, and I was like, that's not the right support. So we'll have all of that. And if we can luck out and get Kuki, then she doubles up with Tainari and fights Raiden Shogun. So we actually have funny enough, a pretty decent spread to efficiently farm bosses. So I'm actually happy about that. So with all that said, what was interesting is that when I felt like I was like, well, I'm doing the same thing, but why does it feel wrong? It's only because that I didn't just leave stuff alone to see the big number when I was done farming. It was because I was using the resources as I got it. And that's not a bad thing. It's just a different perspective you have to look from and understand that that's what's happening, right? Because the fact that all my units, Bennett aside, pretty much have 8/8 talents where they need to be. Because it's usually two things that you want at 8. In my experience, anyway. Let me rephrase that. In my experience, it's been that way. It's actually kind of amazing. And this is completely free to play. So this is a message to new players who have just started, who are thinking about coming in. And honestly, I think of my brother. So my brother at one point did say he wanted to try Genshin, but wasn't able to for 2 reasons. Well, I'll say 2.5. His phone definitely couldn't run it. His computer is old and is a pile of crap, but he can't afford to get a new one right now. So his computer can't run it. And not, until recently, because come November, it now will be on the console that he has. It wasn't on the Xbox. So he couldn't play it at that point anyway. So now he could actually give it a try. But knowing how my brother is, and this might have to do with his autism, I'm not going to lie about that, that the instant gratification part might not be there, right? That you could get discouraged. So like Mualani like being clunky wouldn't be his fault and not necessarily your build's fault. That's just the way the game is. But, you go into comparison to, say, my Nouvelette. My Nouvelette, which was mostly technically on a free-to-play build, because I was using Prototype Amber, was doing consistent damage, but I knew I could pull more out of him. And that's why I was just like, is the crit damage from the Witsith going to be enough? And funny enough, even when you land on the one on the beat that doesn't really affect him, which I think is 3, I think it's the 3rd one, which is the EM. Is that the EM one? Yeah. So for Newell, the Elemental Mastery doesn't really do anything because he's not reacting to anybody because I have C1. He's really not reacting to anybody. So it's kind of useless, and he hits, as Forrest and I would put it, as a wet noodle. That wet noodle damage is about what he was doing with the Prototype Amber on the build I had him on. So I could only get better to the point where his charge attack damage went from, this was me going back and looking at some footage when I was changing stuff. He was doing roughly about 20, maybe 30k per charge with the Prototype Amber on the highest. Then changing to the Witsith having Baiju, he was doing around 40 to 50k, and then removing Baiju and putting in Shalonin with him on the Witsith, I've seen him do upwards to about 80k on a charge, going from 60k to 80k. That's pretty significant for just a little tweak. So seeing that that's possible and knowing that I went about it the same way, just adjacent on this account, don't be discouraged. Some things act weird, some things happen, and it takes time. But even like when she was on a 2-piece Hydro, 2-piece HP build, she was still rocking it. When Sharky wanted to hit something, but we still saw her do like 120 to 150k on not an optimal build at all. So that also does tell you, one, the power of the newer characters, but also that it would take less investment of a newer character than it does some of the older characters, as we're seeing with Eula. And that's kind of a fascinating thing to see. But here's another thing. 2 new players, or incoming players, unless you are all about the meta and wanting the best of the best, pick who you want. When it comes to DPS, it literally is kind of that feeling of, and I believe it was Seka who said this, the best way to describe it: choose your favorite character for DPS, or on field, or however you want to call it, and then pull their best friends. Your supports are the ones that are really going to matter. But I'm also on that feeling of, I don't really want to call any character a must pull, because that creates FOMO. And I don't want anyone to ever feel like that. I don't want anyone to feel that they have to swipe so that they can make, oh, like, this character's going to make this character so much better. I need them. What the heck? I lost my 50-50. Oh no, I only have 2 days left. The only character I will ever say that you should pull if they are available is Farina. She will instantly make any team better. And all that's required is a healer, and there are plenty of healers. Do you need Baiju? No, but he is a comfy healer to have as Farina's bestie, just because his skill and burst both heal the entire party. So, all in all, in terms of reviewing the account and giving my perspective on it on here, I'm happy. Like, I am, like, that roller coaster ride, because there were times I was like, man, this feels better than my main. And I want to point out that's before I tweaked my main. And it's just because I was working with the account smarter. I was paying attention to talents, and I was like, okay, what parties are we going to have? What teams do we have? Because when it comes to the Abyss, you want 2 solid teams that potentially could just clear the Abyss. My main is lucky that it has 2 of the best hyper carries in the game, Nuvolette and Arlecchino, and we'll sprinkle in Alhaitham, because Alhaitham apparently was the key to defeating the Tulpa. Yeah, I don't know. I don't understand. Arlecchino should have done just fine, because she was vaporizing off of it. I don't understand why she was having so much trouble. But at the same time, like, I can't really go back and check, because the stats weren't too different, because I think I only gained like 6 more crit damage, maybe a little bit more, from going from 4-piece Gladiator to 4-piece Whimsy. But again, we have the whatchamacallit, the 4-piece effect of Whimsy probably coming into play, and that's where the damage is coming from. So there is something to say about getting them on the correct sets and stuff like that. Like, my Sino 100% needs an entire year. I'm kidding. He probably needs at least a solid month of trying to maybe farm either Gilded or Thundering Fury. I'm kind of leaning towards Thundering Fury now. But right now, he's on a 2-piece attack. 2-piece attack, 2-piece attack. Because I don't have 2 good pieces of Thundering Fury to even give him 2-piece Electro. So his damage is a little wonky, but the team I came up with for him pretty much is solid. Like, I was very surprised that it wasn't like, it's like, oh, he loves Nahida. Okay, well, I put in Dea, Emily, and Kuki because he still needs a healer. And it's surprisingly really good, because I don't have to reset Emily every time in the middle of Sino's burst. Emily's cannon just sits there and shoots things. So, all in all, for this account, I would say that we need to concentrate more on artifacts, 100%. We still are looking at those those upgrades or even side grades to certain team compositions. Because like the aggravate team for Tainari works very well with Baiju, Beto, and Fischl. I am really curious to see what happens if I have to remove one of the Electros, so either Fischl or Beto. I don't know which, because they're both C0. Just pointing that out. They're both C0 in favor of Kuki. And if we get Nahida, we're going to replace Baiju. If we don't end up with Nahida just because not enough wishes or something, Baiju is still the best viable option unless we want to go with the Dendro Traveler or Kole. And if we don't get Kuki, put in Dory. So there's stuff to think about and tweaks of that team, but the way it is right now, it functions. So whereas planning ahead is good because it's because the primos are so limited, planning out where they go, right? My rule of thumb is usually 3 days before the banners end is when I start hoarding primos again, in favor of the upcoming banner. So unless we know Auroron's going to be on the next banner, and I do want Auroron, but I don't know the other 4-stars that are going to run with Chaska, let alone who the rerun's going to be. I know the rumors. But if it's not a banner I really want to roll on, I'm not going to roll on it. Despite loving the Gamba. Right? Despite loving the Gamba, you don't have to roll. I've seen plenty of challenge accounts that either are strictly themed wise, so it's a weapon type or an element type. So they're not constantly rolling. I've seen standard banner only, so yeah, you're constantly rolling there. You have nothing to worry about. Everything goes in there. Kind of thing. But you don't have to roll. You can save for your favorite characters and have fun. Do I want this account to clear the harder content? Yes, because it's resources. I would like to be able to clear the content with a sense of ease. That I'm not bashing my head against a wall, going, why isn't this working? And stuff like that. I have no qualms with going into the Abyss and this happened on actually this recent Abyss. So I don't know if I said this, and I have proof of it. Hang on. On my main account, on the last reset, so this was the 16th of this month, actually 36 starred the Abyss on my own. I have never done that. I've gotten anywhere between 34 and 35 stars on my own. But there's always something that cocks up and it makes it so I can't do it. And it's either like the enemies run over to Timbuktu or whatever. Like they just yeet themselves all the way to the end of the platform. And it's like, why? Nouvellette absolutely dumpster fired everything. And it was funny enough and I say funny enough, but it's the chamber that gives the people most problems. It's the first chamber. And I went in with my Nouvellette team on the first side and my Navia team on the second, which effectively was my old Arlecchino team, just with Navia. So that was Navia, Zhongli, Zhangling, and Bennett. And my Navia isn't as built as my husband's. She still does really good damage, don't get me wrong. But for this Abyss, she was not performing. She did fine on the last 2 chambers. Chamber 1, she couldn't do it. Despite Nouvellette's side beating his half in under a minute. So that tells you where my investment really went in my favorite characters. I.e., my favorite character gets all the love for his team. But I went, and this is why it's funny, because the last few Abysses, where I was like, no, I can't do it, and I did it with Nouvellette and Arlecchino, Forrest comes in and goes, let's try Alhaitham. And Alhaitham absolutely slaps when it comes to the Tulpa. my brain went, is Arlecchino now strong enough to just dumpster through it? And the answer was yes. It took me 3 additional tries, I think. That's nothing to sneeze at. 3 additional tries, and I clinched that in the end. Was an awesome feeling. I actually cried when I did this because I have not done that before. That meant I cleared one of the hardest abysses because there was no damage bonus. There was no damage bonus for me. So I would like to be able to have this account do that as well. By my hands or my husband's, I don't care. But I would like to see a 36 star on the Abyss for this account. And then when it comes to the Imaginarium Theater, that's the issue too. And I would say this is probably what would overwhelm a new player the most. The Imaginarium Theater has such pros and cons that I almost want to say the cons outweigh the pros here. Because you do get resources. There is an easy, normal, and hard mode. And then, of course, there's, I think it's called Visionary mode, which is the hardest mode. But as you go up in difficulty, you need more characters. Yep. It was just I got your message that there was an outage. But it was very quick. I also restarted the router, and right after I did that, it came back. I'm gonna need more coffee. Oh. But me. But what I'm saying though is that the Imaginary Theater requires more of a horizontal upgrade to the account than a vertical one that the Abyss has, because you need just so many characters, and I can see where that's going to be overwhelming. And that's where I think that I got caught up in, because multiple times I was just like, I should concentrate on the Imaginarium Theater. No. And the only reason I'm saying no is because the teams that I would use in the Abyss are struggling in the Abyss. So they kind of need that upgrade still to be able to do all that stuff. And once they are capable of being able to, or at least closely 36 star, actually doing the thing, then I can worry about actually getting the units for the Imaginarium Theater. Because I'm not missing out on, well, I am missing out on some resources with the theater, but it's not all the resources. So I can still get a little bit here and there and work towards it. Because ultimately, too, unless you're a completionist, I don't really see or wanting the wishes. So let's face it, this is the reason I would level characters to 80, is just getting the standard wishes. But if you're not your favorite characters, you're not really gonna level them. I hate to say it, I'm glad I didn't play when Aloy was available, because I don't like her. So, overall, the account is a good work in progress. And for only being a half a year old, I'm actually surprised at how well it performs and where the characters are sitting. The fact that their talents are at that cusp of being, that's an okay stopping point, because you're going for the luck of the draw on both the drop and the dream solvent. So they might stay at that 8 talent part for a while because of it. Their weapons are mostly level 90. Refinements will come when they come. I have not lucked out on billets, so the prototype Amber is still only rank 2. I think I can grab one from something I have in my inventory. But, it's all good. And I'm surprised, but glad. So, with that...
Isn't there anything else more interesting to do?
I'm sorry, I was giving you praise like you asked for, Farina. So with that, we are going to select Nahitos. Oh, I almost had a 10 pull. No, I still won't have a 10 pull even if I do my dailies. So let's start our wishing on Nahida. And I do have a 10 pull actually in the glitter, so I could use it. So 5, 5, 10, 15, 16, 17. All right, so it's 18 since we got that early Dea. So that's not bad. So we did 18 pulls for Chiori. So let's go. Okay, so 20. We should at least see a 4-star in here, I think. And honestly, like, Sethos is fine, because he would be a free wish. But we really want Kuki and Singcho. And we need at least 3 copies of Kuki. Because I want our C2. Alright, we're still having a little bit of internet connectivity issue. Because there is a very much a significant lag when I'm pushing the buttons. Oh. You're gonna make me go to pity for the 4-star. How dare you? And who we get? We'll take a Sing Shokan. And alright, so the only one we need to worry about is Kaya. So we will be careful here, but we do want to really try for Nahida, so we will cash in. Am I back again? Alright, so we are going to do one of two things. Alright, let's go. That's not that. Alright, we're going to see if we can make it through the wishes for Nahida, and then I'm going to give Ned's... No, I can't. Well, I can... Ned's 1. Alright. So that was a blue. Didn't miss out on anything there. 2. 3. Alright. And our 10 pull, go! No early 5-star. Dang it. Give me an early 4-star. No, you're gonna make me go to pity for the 4-star too. Sing Cho, okay. Another sack greatsword, alright. So we got that at refinement 3 now. Alright, Sing Cho, what's that put you at, bud? He is now C4. Awesome. He is now C4. We are going to go to Fontaine. Hello. Unfortunately, that's not going to be enough to collect dailies. Alright. Here's gonna be the question. Let's go back to Tiggy. Actually, wrong way. Hulani. Alright. Let's at the very least do, hopefully, we'll do like 3 runs of this. Yes, I am. Alright. We'll get 3 runs in here, and then I will stop stream because I've been having the internet connectivity issues.
I'm going in. Huh? Eat this.
Share! Falling leaves, adorn my nut.
Attack. So no burst. Oh, no, that's not Bennett. There we go.
Let's light it up. Everybody stand at the right hand into the fire.
Into the wind.
Faster. Amazing.
I should have popped the jingling.
Check this out.
That's alright.
Nice and spicy. That really hurt.
Burst. Alright, this might be a little bit of connectivity issue if nothing is obeying me. Yeah, that's not gonna work. Not really. Why?
I'm going in. Let's light it up. At the right pan, it's
The wind knows me.
Perfect.
One with wind and cloud.
Oops, that's Benny.
eat this. Let's ride.
No. Well, I do have the healing bonus one. And no, well, that was absolute trash. But that's okay. We just wanted to be able to claim this stuff. So let's just go to Notland. Sacred Flame. There we go. Okay. There we go.
Ad Astra. Thank you for completing. Ad Astra.
Goodbye. Tiggy team. Oh, it's... Controller, calm down. Also, I said wish. Oh, that does put me enough for another wish. Wish! Miss. And then we have the standard wish that we'll just throw it at, which is also a nice blue. It's beautiful. All right, that is going to actually do it for me since I've been having the internet connectivity issues as I just DC'd twice now. And I don't know how long that hiccuping is going to last. So I'll see everybody tomorrow. I'll be back on Disgaea for Thursday, Friday. And then Monday I'll return to Genshin, do our normal stuff. And we'll see how the month of just farming ley lines actually goes. All right? So until then, take care, everybody.